Hello, everyone. Welcome along. It's Betting Weekly Game Bet Match, #1 tennis betting podcast and YouTube show brought to you in association with BetRivers, your hometown sportsbook. I'm Nigel Seeley, your host. I'm delighted to say joining me, as per normal, it's our senior ATP Tour handicapper. It's Sean Calvert. This will be our last podcast of the week, previewing Saturday's matches at the ATP Tour event at the Rome Masters, the big 1000 event. Sean, good afternoon to you. Feeling a little bit better than yesterday, mate?
About 5% better, I would say.
Oh, that's good.
I managed to get out on the paddle court this morning, play a bit of doubles. That's quite fun. I love playing paddle. It's great.
How'd you get on? Did you win?
Well, it's just four mates, like the four of the dads from around here that play together. So it's not serious or anything. But
well,
yeah,
I know you, and I know how competitive you are, so I know that would not be just a dad's friendly match. I don't believe that for 1 minute.
they probably don't take it that seriously. As seriously as I do, I must admit. I just enjoy winning. I can't be doing with losing stuff. If there's matches there to be won, you got to win it, haven't you?
Yeah.
Even if it's a friendly. I didn't play that great. I played all right, considering I was coughing and spluttering my way through most of the first set. But we won one and we lost one, so it was all right. It's great fun. I mean, I'm not actually that bothered because it's great fun. The sun's out shining. If you never played paddle, just try it. It's much more fun than tennis, that's for sure.
My afternoon consists of a nice cold beer and sitting in the hot tub this afternoon. That's me done.
This was 9:30 this morning. So
at 9:30. I mean, I'd like to do that at 9:30. I'd like to do that 9:30 in the morning, all through to 9:30. The ideas of exercise and paddle, my knees are long gone. Not for me anymore.
It's not that tiring. I've played singles in paddle. That is painful, but doubles is not. There's not really that much movement going on, really. I'm pretty sure you could do it. Might help you actually. If you a mate of mine just ran the London Marathon. He said he had really bad knees before, and he said since he's been doing all this long distance running, his knees have suddenly randomly become better. So maybe you should run a marathon.
My days of marathon running never existed, and the idea of that, no. I like my little stroll. My little stroll with a dog, with 10,000 steps a day. Going to and from tennis tournaments, walking around, sitting in the garden, on my phone, hot tub, few bets on the tennis. That's it. No. Them days.
Each to their own.
Long gone. Let's have a look at some action. Another glorious day today in Rome. We're looking at the weather. Yeah. Not only here in London, it's beautiful. It's beautiful over in Rome as well. And the weather conditions look pretty set for the rest of the week. It looks quite nice and sunny.
Yeah, sunny tomorrow. That's all we care about as far as this show is concerned. It's not supposed to be any hint of rain tomorrow. It's supposed to be bright sunshine all day. So, yeah, quicker conditions again. I would expect on Saturday. Maybe a few spectators struggling if they're not careful. You got to get them hats on. Get the hat on. Get the water. It's going to be a hot one in Rome tomorrow. If you're going along, it's going to be warm.
I've just ordered a new hat today. Actually, I've ordered my England Euro 2024 bucket hat. So,
oh my days. That sounds that sounds questionable.
No, I can't. You can't wear a baseball cap. You've got the old sort of the cricket bucket hat. So,
like the festival hats.
Yeah, it'll be in the post. It'll be on in the summer over in Germany. Looking forward to that one. But before we head on to this fantastic summer of sport, I mean, you've got the Euro 2024, the Copa America soccer coming up, the Champions League final, the end of the
West Brom in the playoffs.
West Brom potentially in the playoffs. That's the big hottest ticket in town.
We're not beating Southampton. I can tell you that now. Wow. Anyone who wants to bet on that match, Southampton to qualify, that looks the bet to me. They're way better than us.
Well, it's always about the price. It's always about the value. And
I don't know what the odds are. I haven't looked, to be honest with you. But
Southampton are very heavy minus money, along with
the
Leeds as well.
They're way better than us.
But you've seen playoffs. The couple of playoffs that Crawley's won 3-0 at home to MK Dons. They were a big outsider, so you never know in the playoffs. Anyway, that's all going to be covered for you on Betting Weekly Extra Time with the boys of the Champions League, and there's a whole much content as well. But this is a tennis show, and we are building up to the French Open, and it is the 1000 in Rome this weekend, and we're looking at Saturday's matches. As per usual, we have 4 matches highlighted for you to look at. The first match does look an interesting, a very, very interesting match. It's up between Stefanos Tsitsipas and Jan-Lennard Struff. Now, Jan-Lennard Struff obviously did the business for us a couple of weeks ago, winning the tournament. He was very unlucky last week in Madrid, where he got beat by Carlos Alcaraz, a match that he probably felt that he should have won. Tsitsipas, though, is the favourite here, -$2. Struff is +155. The spread here is 2.5, -130. Tsitsipas giving up 2.5, and Struff receiving 2.5 is +102. The total here is 22.5, with over -120 and under -107. Tsitsipas has a very narrow head-to-head lead at 4-3 on the head-to-heads. But the interesting thing here is they play 3 times on clay, and Struff leads 2-1 on the clay court records, and that was the last time they played, which was in Madrid last year. He won in a tight third set. If you look at the head-to-head between these two, Sean, they're very, very close matches. The last 5 matches have all gone the distance. Doubts about Tsitsipas. We spoke about his love life. You think it could be a negative? He's a sensitive boy. I think he'd be a positive for him. So, interesting one, this one. I like this one.
Yeah, I think this is about the conditions really tomorrow, because it's going to be sunny and hot, as I said, and this is a very serve dominant matchup, has been in the past. 92% holds of serve for Tsitsipas in this matchup, 87% for Struff, and you could certainly argue Struff's a better player now than he was during probably half a dozen of these matchups that they've had in the past. The way that Struff plays, very, very aggressive, even more aggressive than ever now. Looks to take that time away from Tsitsipas. We know Tsitsipas loves to camp out in his backhand corner, have time with his flashy sort of nice looking backhand swings, and Struff takes that time away from him with just the aggression. Struff tends to start really, really quickly anyway against top players generally, but he's against Tsitsipas. He's won set 1 the last 5 times in a row. And the one that he didn't win, another one that he didn't win, was a loss in a tiebreak. So it's always a good option to consider Struff to win set 1. I think that's around about a +133 chance with BetRivers. He does tend to come out all guns blazing against the top players, and he'll fancy this. He's been more than competitive in this matchup, as you've said. So with the conditions being hot and sunny, he should really like the idea of taking Tsitsipas on here. But it's been so serve dominated that I think the value lies elsewhere in betting this match. Struff's only won 29% of return points against Tsitsipas, which is poor, and Tsitsipas isn't that much better, 32%. So I was quite surprised to see +205, 3.05 about set 1 over 10.5 games here. It looks a better value option than any of the others. Quick conditions, Struff tends to start quickly. This is Tsitsipas's first match, remember, and he was overpowered by Montero in Madrid. I was sat there watching that. It wouldn't be surprised if he was it takes a little bit of time, slightly slow start for Tsitsipas to get going. And Struff's obviously had that match under his belt already so far in these conditions against Cashin, which was yesterday. So in these conditions, with these two, given their statistics, given their strong serving, given their weak return game, I'm quite surprised that the price is as big as it is for set 1 over 10.5 games.
Set 1 over 10.5 games is, what is it, +2?
+205, 3.05.
That does seem a big price. If you look at the head-to-head record between the two of them, there's 7 previous meetings. 3 of them are cashed over 10.5. 3 of them at exactly 10, and 1 has been under 10. What price is over 9.5? Is it a big drop, or is it sort of massively dropped?
I didn't look at that, to be honest with you.
I'll have a look at that in a minute. But then 9.5 may appeal as well, because obviously that would mean 6 of the 7 matches between these two in the opening set have got cashed over 9.5 games. Set 1 over, it's a big drop, -136. To 10.5 is +205, so 10.5 represents the value there. The theme in that match is definitely over the games. 22.5, you want to play the traditional over, is -120, but at the value at +205. Over 10.5 in set number 1 is our pick. Is that our official pick for us?
I think I was expecting that price to be over 10.5 to be quite a bit shorter, to be honest, more like sort of 6-4, something like that. Given these two, maybe they haven't factored in the fact that it's going to be hot and sunny and quicker tomorrow. Maybe that's something that we've got on our side. But if you see the value, it's you got to take it, haven't you?
Yep, certainly value there. And we're playing on the overs. Set 1 over 10.5 +205. Tsitsipas against Jan-Lennard Struff. The next match is an intriguing one. It's 2 players that really outside the top 100 in the world. Shang 105. Napolitano, Stefano Napolitano. He's from Ireland. I don't know if you know that, but anyway, he's +1.
Ireland?
No, I'm joking. A name like Stefano Napolitano. I mean, you've got to be from Italy.
I just wonder where you're going with that.
The most Italian name you ever.
I was thinking of some Irish link there that I couldn't quite get, but
no, So
Quite obviously
Stefano,
Italian, yes.
he beat qualifier. No, lucky loser, JJ Wolf, who took, I can't remember whose place he took. Did he take Berrettini's place?
He was supposed to play Berrettini, was Napolitano, yeah. Instead, he got Jeff Wolf.
Yeah,
So,
and he won that easy. Had a bit of a luck
and now
there.
he's got Shang.
He's up against Shang, who's not the best on the clay either. Although he's 5-4 this year. Zhang is -150. Napolitano is +140. The spread 1.5 -125 for Zhang. -110 for Napolitano, +1.5, and the total again is 22.5 with both over and under -120. Prior to his win against Wolf, Napolitano got beaten qualifying in Madrid. He did meet the Challenger quarterfinal prior to that, and he did win the Madrid Challenger. He won that tournament. So he's got good little form coming into this. He did get beat by Richard Gasquet, which is pretty easy as well in qualification in Madrid, which is a bit of a worry. But with the home support, +140, are you interested in the Italian here?
Yeah, it's +140 now, is he?
I may have that wrong. I'll have a look. I'm looking at my writing. Was it +110, is it?
I wrote down +120, but that was a while ago.
Let me have a look. It may be my writing because I've written down and it looks like writing. But let me. You carry on and I'll tell you.
140 would be great.
Actually, when you look at -150 and -140, the percentage is much too strong. So I was looking at myself thinking that might have been wrong. But you carry on and I'll give you the updated odds.
So this is a bit of a late bloomer, Stefano Napolitano. He's 29 years of age now. He's got the same birthday as me, actually, incidentally. I'm sure is of interest to absolutely nobody, but he does. 29 years of age. He's now at the peak.
Same age as you as well.
Yeah, he's roughly virtual twins, apart from the fact that he's almost like he's about 6'5" or something like that. Apart from that, we're virtual twins, yeah. So he's been playing great this season. As you said, he won the Madrid Challenger, he won the Bengaluru Challenger on hard courts a couple of months prior to that. So very much a late bloomer, 29 years of age, approaching the top 100 for the first time in his career. Obviously, he's going to have massive support here. I watched some of his match against Jeff Wolf. You know, he was very pumped up for that. I think that's going to be massive for him in a match like this. Shang, I'm not convinced about generally, but certainly not on clay. He played for 5 hours in qualies and had a medical timeout, did Shang, which is a running theme with him. He always seems to have issues with his body. And the physical nature of clay matches, the long points, the physicality of it, that doesn't strike me as something that would particularly sit well with the brittle body of Shang. He also lacks experience on this surface. He's only played 30 career matches at challenger level and main level on clay compared to over 200 for Napolitano. So there's certainly an experience gap there. If you look at the stats all time on this surface clay at challenger level and main level, it's advantage to Napolitano. Shang's got a 50% win rate and the service points 110 points, win total of 99. Napolitano 52% win rate and a total of 101. So he's ahead on the stats. He obviously has more experience on the surface. He's got to be looking at being super pumped for this. You know, he could have had Berrettini in the first round, and you know, if Berrettini was fit and firing, you would have expected Berrettini to win in the first round exit for Napolitano. Now he's got a great chance of getting through to round 3. So I'm not seeing any weakness against left-handers either. Shang's a lefty. Napolitano's won his last 7 matches against left-handers. It is at all levels, so it's difficult to really bring that into this match as a comparison because he doesn't play much at main level, but no obvious weakness against left-handers. So I'm slightly surprised that he was plus money for this. I would have made Napolitano just a tiny favourite, to be honest. So again, I feel like there's value there. He's around about plus 120, so happy to take that.
He is plus 120. My mistake. My handwriting was appalling, as per usual. Plus 120, Napolitano is the current price. Yang is minus 150. And Sean saying then he thought Napolitano would be the favourite. So at plus 120, he sounds like a great bet.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Shang's favourite here, other than the fact that he's slightly higher ranked. Yes, he's been playing at a higher level more often than Napolitano. But, you know, this is a guy who's absolutely, as I said, the peak of his confidence. Is at the peak of his rankings late in his career, and he's going to have 99% of the crowd behind him. So, and it's going to be a hot day as well. Another thing with Shang, not convinced about him physically. So, I mean, Shang might win this match, but that price is pretty rotten as far as I can tell.
If Sean Calvert says Napolitano should be favoured, you can bet him at +120. It's a bet. That's all you need to know. Remember, BetRivers do, if you're going to put this in, you might want to put it in a parlay. Remember, BetRivers do have a tennis net gains daily parlay boost. Score more value on your tennis parlay each day with the BetRivers net gains profit boost. Log in every day to claim your profit boost for a tennis parlay. Then make your tennis parlay of at least 3 legs. Each leg must have odds of -150 or longer. Depending on your loyalty level, you can boost of at least 25% and as much as 50%. See the BetRivers app for more details and grab your parlay boost today. Head across to the BetRivers website. There is going to be 16 matches in the men's draw tomorrow, as well as 16 matches on the women's draw. You'll be able to find the best value for your parlay boost. And remember, it's an early start. 5 a.m. Eastern time, these matches start. So head across nice and early to get your bets down and to get that parlay boost. Now, the most interesting game as far as the betting is concerned for tomorrow is a match that BetRivers can hardly split, and I can't really. Thiago Seyboth Wild is doing things. It's moving up the rankings and being noticed at the moment. A lot of people quite liking this young Brazilian player. He's up against an Argentinian, Tomas Etcheverry. Seyboth Wild is -115. Etcheverry is a -108 chance. The spread here is 1.5, which is a bit irrelevant really because you can be 1.5 either way. So it's really on the money line, the concrete market here. And the 22.5 is the total with over -121 and under -106. Seyboth Wild is obviously going well at the moment. He's doing well in the ratings, and Etcheverry's the higher ranked opponent at 28. But Seyboth Wild is 61 in the ratings and the favourite to win this match. Etcheverry also boasts a 2-1 winning head-to-head record. All 3 have been on clay, and all 3 were back in 2021, so 3 years. But Seyboth Wild is a very, very different player. What he was then in those challenger events to what he is now. What do you like what you see about this Seyboth Wild? Because a lot of people are betting him. He seems to be quite popular on. He seems to be a public player. I think a lot of people quite liking his style. He's obviously gets a lot of support.
His style.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure whether we're getting a bit carried away about him on some of these odds.
Yeah, he's a guy that I've mentioned before. I think I put him up at a mad price at Hamburg last year. He's very, very flashy. It's very hit and miss. It catches the eye. I can see why people like him, people rate him when he's playing his best tennis, when he's on form, and the shots are going in. He's great, but not normally one when the chips are down. He's having a bad day. Can he turn around a bad day? Not often enough for me. I mean, I can't have him as favourite here. I mean, just there's no real basis for it other than recency bias, and by that I mean Etcheverry's lost 3 of his last 4 matches. He lost to Jamie Munar last week in the Challenger. He lost to Shapovalov in Madrid. Shapovalov played great that day, but that's very, very recent. That's within the last couple of weeks. If you look at the slightly further back, it's all Etcheverry in terms of stats. Last 12 months on clay at main level, Seyboth Wild 53% win rate and a service points won and return points won total of 100. Also a hold and break total of 100. Etcheverry 58% win rate, a 104 service points won and return points won total, and a 106 service hold and break total. So some distance ahead, Etcheverry. You might say, okay, Etcheverry's not playing that well this season. Well, okay, let's look at this season's stats on the clay. Seyboth Wild 54% win rate and a service points won and return points won total of 99. Etcheverry 60% win rate and a total of 102. So there's nothing in that really, other than, as I've said, the fact that Etcheverry's not been great in his last 2 or 3 matches. That there's no statistical reason why you would make Seyboth Wild favourite for this. Flashier game, does catch the eye. I get that, but he's only won 33% of his matches against top 30 ranked opponents in his career. So there's certainly a question mark against him against the better players. Head to head, as you said, is 2-1 in favour of Etcheverry. So nothing in that would make you think Seyboth should be favourite. This is just about, what's going on with Etcheverry at the minute. That loss to Munar last week, that's poor, losing in straight sets to Munar. But was it a challenger? He might have just been using that to maybe tune up a few things, maybe try out a few things that he's thinking of bringing into his game or whatever. I would be backing Etcheverry here if I was betting in this match. I think Seyboth's a poor price, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised to see the favourites flip in this match and Etcheverry be a marginal favourite against Seyboth Wild. He does get bet, this young Brazilian player, and he's got a bit of swagger about him.
He's great to watch. I understand it. I like him, but only only like him when the odds are right. I don't like
Yeah.
him when they're not. And for me, they're not there.
Would that be an official play or just the lean towards?
It's just a lean. I'm just slightly concerned. I don't know whether Etcheverry's maybe carrying an injury or something like that. Because his last couple of matches haven't been great. But if you ignore that recency bias, which is what this price is all about, and then Etcheverry for me would be the one there. Yeah.
The final match is an all-French affair. It's Arthur Fils up against Alexandre Muller. Fils, the teenager, is -157 to win. This Muller is +125. The spread is 2.5, -105 for Fils, giving up 2.5. Muller receiving 2.5 is -121. The total again is 22.5 with -106 over and -121 under. Fils is another player, very popular player in the betting markets. He usually seems to be very heavily supported and always seems to be a little bit of value to oppose the young Frenchman. Alexandre Muller is a bit of a journeyman. He's ranked outside the top 100 in the world at 109 currently, but he's in good form here. He's come through 3 matches to reach this stage, and this is Arthur Fils' first match. So that's a bit of an advantage for Muller here. How do you see this one going?
I was surprised that Fils was as big as this, to be honest. I was expecting him to be 1 to 2 or maybe slightly shorter. People say to me, why don't you put up any favourites? Generally, it's because they're not great value, but I think there's good value in Fils here. The problem that he had in Madrid was a sickness. We had Altmaier, didn't we? I think we had Altmaier to win the first set against him last week, didn't we? Against Fils, and he had a bit of a shocker. Fils. It later transpired that he'd been sick, and he wasn't, he wasn't able to practice in the previous days for long. So he's obviously got some sort of issue there. Assuming he's fit, I mean, he's miles ahead on the clay statistics, Fils. And he's not been fabulous. He's been very up and down, as you would expect of a 19-year-old lad. He's not going to produce the same level day in, day out, week in, week out. But last 12 months on clay at main level, Fils 52% win rate, service points won over 10 points win total of 100, service hold and break total of 100. Pretty decent stats. We look at Muller, 22% win rate, a service points won and return points won total of 92, and a service hold and break total of 84. Not good stats at all. For me, he was fortunate to get past Fucsovics in the first round yesterday. Fucsovics in typical style, dominating the match, took a set lead, got to the second set tiebreak. He was also miles ahead on the statistics in terms of the second set alone, managed to make a mess of the tiebreak and then ran out of gas in the deciding set. But Fucsovics did come into that match having withdrawn a few days earlier at the Cagliari Challenger, and there was money for Muller for that match, which suggests to me that Fucsovics wasn't fully fit. And certainly by the evidence of the third set, I would suggest that Fucsovics was certainly not fully fit. I've taken a look at what Muller's done against top 34 ranked opposition, such as Fils, 3-10 win-loss, and he's only won a set in 4 out of those 13 matches. His return game it's not good enough against the better players. Fils' strong serve should really allow him in conditions that are going to be pretty lively tomorrow. It should allow him to cover the handicap here. So I would be heading for Fils -2.5 games here to beat Muller, which is, I think, -104 chance of BetRivers.
Maybe one to put in the parlay boost. Fils at -157. So you can find a couple of other ones to add to Fils get that added bonus with BetRivers on the parlay boost. Check the website out for the details on that one. Before we head off, I'm just going to ask you a little bit. I know there's a big match tomorrow. We haven't spoken about it because you haven't really got it in as your one of your bets. But we've got to talk about it. Okay. It's Rafael Nadal up against Hubert Hurkacz. Nadal is an outside here, +102. Hurkacz -125. Spread 2.5. Total 22.5. Nadal's on the comeback trail. Hurkacz is playing some good tennis on clay. He got beat by Fritz in Madrid, but he won the tournament, obviously, in Estoril. What's your initial thoughts on this match here? Because obviously the conditions should suit Hurkacz with the serve. You would expect it to go quite long, which Nadal, given his fitness and his age, may be a struggle in the heat. What do you think here? Because this one here could. I'm looking at Hurkacz here at -125 and thinking, that could be a very good price.
I would be looking to back Hurkacz if I was betting in that match. I watched a lot on Nadal's match against Bergs. I think it was yesterday. I mean, Bergs had every chance to win that match. Statistically, there was very, very little in it. Nadal did just about enough. I think Bergs perhaps maybe a little bit of inexperience there. He perhaps with a bit more experience, 1 or 2 years more on the tour, he probably would have won that match. It's difficult to gauge Rafa because he can only do what his body allows him to do on the day, which sometimes isn't that much. He wasn't great against Berg. The serve is, as I said, it's not what it was. His movement's not what it was. I mean, Berg's drop shotted him numerous times. And those were drop shots that you would expect Nadal to have picked up in years gone by. Now he can't. He just doesn't. It's just not able to be the Rafael Nadal that people are used to seeing and that his fans, still want him to be, I suppose. Hurkacz should be winning this. He really should, particularly on a day that's going to be pretty sunny. Should help his serve. Even if it wasn't, he should be too much for Nadal at this stage in Nadal's career.
Yeah, I quite like Hurkacz here, but the one thing I will say, BetRivers are currently the best price in the world on Rafa Nadal, plus 102. It's the best price you'll get. And looking at my little magic machine here, I believe that Rafa will see the money and he'll go minus money, and you may get a bigger price Hurkacz.
Well, I would take Hurkacz plus money, definitely.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to go that much. I think it's going to be around about, I believe that both of these will start around about minus 110. So
even that, I would say. I mean, it's a pick 'em, isn't it? But it is difficult because I'm sure at some point during this clay swing, Nadal's going to come out and play absolutely brilliant, and you think, hello, but that's the risk you're taking on this sort of bet. But everything I've seen from him, this clay season, he shouldn't be beating Hurkacz, really.
No. Hurkacz currently minus 125. I do believe that price will get bigger, so hold on to your ticket before you head to the BetRivers website. If you want to bet Nadal, take it now, plus 102. But myself and Sean believe that the King of Clay could be under a bit of pressure tomorrow in the Eternal City. 5 a.m. start, remember. Head to the BetRivers website tonight or tomorrow morning, but you've got to get across early because these matches will start early. Remember to subscribe to Betting Weekly Studios on YouTube. To keep across all the brilliant content there, the tennis and the soccer content as well. Brilliant weekend of Premier League soccer and brilliant weekend of soccer across Europe as well. And they're covered on our shows on there. Download the podcast Betting Weekly Game Bet Match on your preferred podcast device. And follow us on socials on Twitter and on Instagram at Because We Win. Lots of exclusive content over the weekend on Instagram. We have a Saturday parlay, a Sunday parlay on the soccer. We'll have in-running picks in the Premier League and across Europe. And also we've got some extra content that will be coming your way over the next few weeks and months as well. Sean, have a good day. I've actually started to get a sore throat as I've been speaking to you as this show's going on.
Nothing to do with me.
I don't know if you're sending some kind of lurgy through these microphone here.
It's diseased Britain. Everywhere you go, there's people coughing and spluttering, and it's not good.
I spoke to my father today. He sounded terrible. I thought he'd been out with you playing paddle tennis. He sounded awful.
Who did?
My father sounded terrible today. He's got a bug. Can't get rid of it. Cough. Sounds terrible.
Does he live in Essex?
No.
Ah, well.
Sorry, my friend. Sorry. Posh
nothing to do with me then. But I'm on a plane out to Alicante later on tonight, so I'm hopefully a bit of.
You'll be all right. You'll be all right there. Well, plenty of money. Well, we're going to catch up with you on Sunday. You'll be poolside, sitting by the pool, sipping a nice cerveza. You'll be absolutely fine. No worries with that.
We'll see.
Okay, well, good luck with your bets today. Head across to the BetRivers website. Remember, there's 37 markets available on these matches. The big match, Nadal, Hurkacz. The lean there would be for Hurkacz if the price gets bigger, but our official plays are Tsitsipas and Struff over 10.5 games in set number 1 at plus 205, and Napolitano from Dublin to beat Shang at plus 120. Have a good day. Take care, and good luck with your wagers.